Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Pamela, and you are watching Pam Entertainment TV, where we review movies, television series, and incidents in pop culture to see how those incidents affect our daily lives. Listen, just got off work. Sir, let's go over this. It was reported earlier today by the Hollywood Reporter. And forgive me, y'all, I've had a couple of cups of coffee to keep me awake for today. And it does make me tongue tied a little bit. But let's get into this article. I guess I need to share my screen. That would be prudent. And I'm only going live because it was easier to go live than to do a whole video. I will not be on here long. All right, here we go. Reported by the Hollywood Reporter that the judge denies defense motion to dismiss case against Jonathan Majors, paving way for trial. And this is written by Caitlin Houston. So let's get down into this article. The New York judge Michael Gaffey rejected the defense's motion to dismiss the misdemeanor assault and harassment charges facing Marvel actor Jonathan Majors on Wednesday, clearing the way for a November 29 trial. So he is going to trial on the 29th. Says here's a defense additionally filed a motion under seal requesting that certain evidentiary matters continue to be under seal or outside public view. And I'm wondering, are those evidentiary matters having to do with, um, you remember when they went to court back in September? It was like two hearings. There was a hearing that they threw all the court reporters out of the session. So I am assuming that there are some matters that they went over that they're continually wanting to keep under wraps. Hey y'all, I see y'all. I won't be on here long. Hey Andre, is it Zangbeto? Zangbeto? How y'all doing? I'm not gonna be on here long. I'm just gonna go over today's information. And then probably ask y'all how y'all feeling about it. Put it down there in the comments and we'll go over that. And I'll just quickly go over this article. The defense additionally filed a motion under seal requesting that I read that. The defense argued that this evidence contains sensitive information that could jeopardize Major's right to a fair trial. Wonder what that is. The state did not take a position on the motion, and Gaffey told press in the courtroom that they could submit papers in opposition to this by November 6th. Because again, you have the freedom of information, and since court hearings are public, if there's certain information that the press feels is of the interest of the public, they're asked to have that information unsealed. But we will see. That's why it when I was listening, when I read a couple of articles talking about that the defense was leaking information, and I was like, no, the court. I mean, excuse me, you have freedom of press. The press can interview and get information from any entity involved in the court case unless the judge places out a gag order. Majors faces 4 misdemeanor charges of harassment and assault after being arrested following an alleged domestic violence incident March 25th. And it goes on to what happened. According to court documents filed in relation to the case, an investigatory card or I-card, which is not an arrest warrant but rather an NYPD document alerting officers that there's a probable cause for an arrest, was also issued for Jabari in late June. Now, I don't know what's going on with this mouse. Okay, in late June, in relation to the cross complaint. However, prosecutors on the case have informed police, defense, and Jabari that they will not be prosecuting. So, even with that arrest, they're not going to prosecute the case. uh, because again, they need her testimony, and if they're prosecuting her, that will affect her testimony in regards to this particular case. Chaudhry filed a motion to dismiss in September, along which the state's response was evaluated by the judge in criminal court on Wednesday. The defense motion claimed that the state withheld and buried evidence, which would support the claims of Major's innocence and potentially cast suspicions on Jabari as she testifies, and interfered with the NYPD investigation into Jabari. They also alleged that the state did not disclose communications with the NYPD or any benefits discussed in relation to not prosecuting Jabari. And the defense alleged that there were missing 911 calls among them. All of this information, all of this also interfered with Major's right to a speedy trial, the defense says, which requires the state to be ready within 90 days. On Wednesday, Judge Gaffey ruled that only 71 days had passed. So we got to count back to 71 days to see when Judge Gaffey decided that. Hold up, y'all. Where is it? It's not showing. Hold up, y'all. So Judge Gaffey on Wednesday ruled that there's 71 days. So I guess going to this court hearing, we're going to get almost to the 90 days. It says among the allegations, defense also claimed that the state did not initially provide a copy of the I-card authorizing Jabari's arrest in June, and also did not disclose what defense says was the state's purported attempt to deactivate the open NYPD I-card, and urged the NYPD not to investigate or charge Jabari, as well as any other benefits they conferred upon Jabari. So what they're talking about in that 23-page document, the defense said that because the prosecution had told Ms. Jabari that they would pay for her airfare and her lodging back to New York during the trial, the defense is saying those are benefits for her, and them not activating her I-card, that's a benefit towards Ms. Jabari in versus what they're doing for Mr. Majors. So basically, if she's got an open complaint against her and he has an open complaint, it should be equal. They should be investigating both complaints. And they're saying because they have dismissed her I-card, or they can't dismiss it. What they can do is not investigate it. I mean, not prosecute, excuse me. I told y'all I had too much coffee. They cannot prosecute it. And they're feeling like that was a benefit for her. But Judge Gaffey ruled against them on that. Prosecutors said that this is what was interesting and confusing at the same time. Let me just highlight this. Let me highlight this. Y'all, this mouse, I don't know if it's the mouse or is it the program, because I promise you. Okay. See, you saw that? We're gonna let it go. Hands free. It's gonna do what it wants to do. In response, prosecutors stated that the NYPD first told the defense counsel they had authorized an I-card authorizing the victim's arrest on June 23rd, but police did not inform prosecution until late August. Further, prosecutors countered that a wanted flyer issued in connection with the I-card feature a photo of Jabari provided by the defense, proving that the team was aware of the I-card's existence. Sorry. Wait a minute. Is this the Wild West? Who is putting up wanted posters? Do they still do that? I don't think they do that anymore. See, I keep telling y'all, stunts and shows and shenanigans. Stunts and shows and shenanigans. Let's see what's going on down here, y'all. What's up, Andre? How you doing? Things are definitely getting interesting. Things are definitely getting interesting. But you all are now starting to see the importance of those 90 days and the importance of those things. This is why that whole March 25th charging affidavit was erased, because they knew that they could not prove the case from that particular charging document, because they knew that the police uh, were doing their own stunts and shows and lying about strangulation and all this other stuff. I listen. The way these charges are laid out, and particularly what I do know. Well, I can only talk about coming from where I'm from. What happens is what they call here stacking charges. So in other words, like if you had a felony assault, you would get charged with felony assault 1, felony assault 2, a misdemeanor assault 3, such and such assault 4, and then I think I have said in videos before, when they charge you with those charges, there's always a little blurb to tell you what that person did in order to be able to charge for that charge. So for instance, now I'm only speaking from where I'm from. If it was felonious assault, and let's say felonious assault is hitting somebody with an object, right? You're in the middle of a fight and you pick up an object and you hit them, and you're still fighting with your hands. They would charge you with felonious assault. They would charge you with misdemeanor assault. And then they will say the felonious assault was when so and so picked up the stick and hit so and so, causing injuries. The misdemeanor assault was the fact that y'all were slap boxing and everything like that. So in other words, they can overcharge you just so that something will stick. So sorry, they'll throw shit on the wall and see what will stick. That's the best I can tell you. Hey, hey, you made it live. You made it live. Hello, hello. Today's decision focused solely on procedural issues, right? Because they had to go over that dismissal. That dismissal had to be rectified. That motion for dismissal had to be rectified before they moved into anything else. And that's what they will give you, because let me tell you something. There's so much power in the word alleged. Alleged this, alleged that. We don't know, but allegedly this. There's so much power in that, because right before or right after they say alleged, it could be a lie, it could be a truth, it could be anything. But they're gonna throw their hands up. So, well, it was alleged that this happened. It was alleged that that happened. So yeah, there's so much power in the word alleged. Let's get back to the article real quick. As far as potential benefits to offer to Jabari, the prosecution disclosed that it would pay for the travel and lodging for Jabari, who is a British resident, so that she can testify at the trial. The decision not to prosecute Jabari, which was disclosed to the state, is not a benefit as the defense argued, but rather a routine decision part of the case, they said. So the judge, I guess, uh, sided with the prosecution on that. Uh, but I'm unsure that because I don't know about non non-American citizens being paid to come back to do a trial, because usually what happens is that you can simulcast if there's a hardship, or if there is something you can simulcast. So I mean, there she for her being physically in the courtroom wasn't necessary. They If she lived over in England, and like I said, the NYPD and the Metropolitan Police have an agreement, and that has been since 9/11, that they cooperate with each other. So there wouldn't be an issue of bringing her to court. You could bring her to the police station, and set up a room where she could, she can zoom in her testimony if they wanted to. So I don't see where her actually setting foot in New York and doing the trial was necessary to pay or to put on the state what $1,500, maybe what 750 round trip plus. I don't see where that expense would have been necessary when you could have zoomed her in. Let's see. Yeah, so I think what happened is that when the prosecutors came in on September 6th and said that they were ready for trial, and they had a certificate of compliance, uh, I think that's the time that Judge Gaffey had started. So he may have started from September 6th. So if you count from September 6th to today, it might end up be 71 days. And that is pretty much the end of it, of that article. I was going to go into some other articles, but I don't have that kind of time. I don't have that kind of time. But what did you all think? Because we took a poll yesterday, and I told you that because the system is the system, and they can sometimes they can and sometimes they can't be petty AF. I did believe that they were going to go to trial. What do you think about the information that's going on? Because there's been such I know Variety was making such a big issue about some information coming from London. And my question is, how are you going to get that information in when it didn't have anything to do with what happened on March the 25th? Now, the only way that that information can come in is if they offer uh, instances of bad acts, prior bad acts. But there has been no indication that that has happened. There's no indication that I know the defense wouldn't offer that information in. And it takes a again, this is New York. I'm speaking of New York, and I don't know that state. But to do that or to make a characterization, it has to be introduced by somebody. So I don't see the defense introducing any prior bad acts if there are, because we have not heard of any prior bad acts to that. Also, too, and I've said this back yesterday in the live, is that if they are looking for a police report, some paperwork, or whatever they had, there's no way to make me believe that that information could not have been given force to the police by the Metropolitan Police under whatever that agreement that they have with London Police, particularly when they're talking about cooperation and whatnot. Uh, well, we're going to go to trial. I can tell the one thing that I can tell you on the 29th, they're going to do jury selection. That is going to be, well, they're going to get all their little motions out of the way. Then they're going to do jury selection. All of that shouldn't take, this is a misdemeanor case. Now, Jonathan Majors could waive his right to a jury and let the judge, let the judge be the let the judge try the case. They try the case to the judge. So he could do that. He's got to weigh his options on that. Um, I think his better bet would be with a jury simply because, the judge knows the law, a jury doesn't know the law. They're just given the information and then they're asked to make a decision from the information. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen. Or, it could be a situation where he could plead. But I figured you've gone this far, you might as well go all the way. But that's again, that's a decision that he has to make because remember, he's got Kang Dynasty and all this other stuff that he's doing. And I think he doesn't want this trial to have to go into next year, uh, because I think he's going to have to start filming. So we will see. We will see. We will see. Does anybody have any other questions? What are y'all thinking? What are y'all thinking? What do you think is going to come out? What do you think is so much different than the information that we have? I did see an article that said that the prosecution claimed that the defense had twisted the information. So, what do you think that information would be? If he pleads, his career is over. Not necessarily, because in those charges there is a violation charge. So he can in essence, for a plea. And you remember I showed you, I don't have it up, but you remember yesterday, look on there, there was a sheet when I talked about the trials. And then on March 25th, it said something about referring him to some type of program. He can he could plead no count contest to the violation, which is a fine. He could join that class and they can expunge his record. And so in other words, it wouldn't be on his record. Now, my New York people, get back with me to make sure that what I just said was factual. I'm gonna say alleged. You know how powerful the word alleged is. So he could do that and not uh claim that. I think he could plead to the lesser charge, which was a harassment charge, and that was basically a verbal harassment charge. So he could plead to that, and I don't see where that would be career ending, because if you get into a bar fight or if you are fussing and cussing outside with the police or with the other entities, that's a harassment charge. Or he could do all those things. But I think he wants to prove his innocence, because did not he has stated several times and through all these things that he did not put these injuries on her. Um so we will see. There are certain scenarios. Do y'all have any scenarios to think how these injuries happen? Let me know down in the comments. Okay? Let me know. All right, people. We do this every week. I appreciate you all joining the live. Please hit that thumbs up button. And if you like what you see, consider to be part of my family over here and subscribe. Subscribe. It's free. It's free. And you get so much. All right, people. We do this every week. And if anything else comes out between now and November 29th, I'll let y'all know. As always, bye bye.